and welcome to the very first video of provider playlist. In this playlist you will learn from zero to advanced level of provider, what is provider, why we should use provider, and what are the benefits of using provider in our Flutter projects. So without wasting any time, let's begin. But before going to provider, I just want to clear some concepts that why we are using or why we will use provider or any other state management in our project. So you are seeing I have already created a project which when I click the head button, the counter or the count is increasing. Here I am simply using the set state and a stateful widget. So before going to the provider, I just want to clear what the stateless and what stateful widgets are. So there are two main widgets in Flutter. One is stateful and one is stateless. In a stateless widget, when we use stateless widget, then the screen will not change or needs to refresh manually. But when we are using the stateful widget and when we click or uh, press the head button, the changes will occur instantly on the screen instantly. So here is the reason we use a stateful widget when we need our UI or the whole screen should uh, be refreshed or the changes should be shown on the screen instantly. Then we use the stateful widget. But with the issue with the stateful widget and the set state is that it is building the whole screen for a single widget, which is count. See, when I click on this button, the whole UI here, the scaffold widget, the center widget, and the whole the widget build widget is being rebuilt. So here is the issue with the stateful widget and the set state. This is why we use state management in our Flutter project. So for one single task, for increasing this count, the whole uh, widget is being built. In here in Simon projects, it won't show. But when we create a large and complex projects like e-commerce applications or any other chat applications, it will lose the efficiency of our project or the application. But uh, when we use state management to control and maintain the efficiency of our project. So this is when we use the set state of a stateful widget. Uh, by using this, the whole screen rebuilds by clicking one single button. Let's see uh, if you just put in a print statement here, build, and now I will save it, and again I will press the add button. See, the when I click this button, here all the widgets, all the build widgets is being rebuilt, and this is the issue with the set state management. So this is the reason why we use state managements like provider, getx, and block in our projects to maintain the efficiency of our applications and to maintain the uh, states. So after the end of this playlist, you will be able to easily manage your application state easily. So for now, I have added a print statement you are seeing on the debug console. When I click on the add button, every time it is increasing and the widget is being rebuilt again and again. So this will lose our application efficiency. So to control this, only this count widget or the text widget should rebuild. For this reason, we will use state management in our application. So in this video or in this playlist, we will use the provider state management in our application. So for that reason, so we will go and install the provider in our application. So open your private browser and go to the pub.dev. Here search for provider. Here comes, we click the provider and go to the installing tab. After coming to the installing tab, just copy this provider and again go to your project pubspec.yaml file, and under the Cupertino icons just paste it and save it. Here comes the code 0. It means that your provider package has been successfully installed in your project. So now let's begin with the provider. uh, First of all, when we use a provider, we have to create the provider classes. So I will uh, keep the code in a structured way. So I will create uh, two directories, one for screens, which will be our design section, and one directory for provider, which will be the provider logic code. So if we separate the both, this is a structured way of program. So I have already created a simple counter project, which is when we click on the add button, the counter is being increased. So I hope and I am assuming that you have come so far in search of provider. You are very much familiar with Flutter basics, so you can easily create this project. Now I am going to giving you an example of provider, how the only this widget can be rebuilt. The unnecessarily in the statistics are being built to how to ignore them and only build the text widget. So let's begin with the provider. I have installed the provider and I have created a provider directory already. So to use the provider, let's first create a file uh, in the provider directory example of one provider.dart, and just import the foundation library and just create a class example one provider and just save it. Just leave it empty for now, and for to use the provider, we need to wrap the material have with a widget of uh, change notifier provider. So let's do that. Here I will come and type return change notifier provider, and we need to provide the uh, class of provider just we have created here. So for that I will give the context of that class, which I have already created. What was the name? The example one provider. So here let's child, and in the child section we will just provide the material help, and we are getting error. Let's see why we are getting the error. Yeah, here we are getting the error because we have not provided with change notifier. So let's use the change notifier and save it again. Our error will be removed. So here we have just wrapped the material have with the change notifier. Here we are uh, just learning the single provider, and in the upcoming videos we will learn about the multi provider inshallah. But in this video we will just learn the single provider. How can we use single provider in our project to build a single um, widget only. So here I have just wrapped the material app with the change notifier provider, but still when I'm pressing the uh, head button, all the application is being rebuilt. So let's take out this issue. Come on the example one dot file, and oh, come here and just implement. We will implement the uh, provider logic. So I will create a double and I will create a private variable count. When we use underscore in the uh, at the start of the variable name, it means we are making this variable private. So I have created a private variable. Now it cannot be accessed outside of the class, so we need a getter function of this. So double get count count. So here I have created a getter function of this variable. Now let's we want to increase it by if this button is pressed. So let's just create a function which will be void set count, and will just provide a plus plus, and here just change the sorry, noti notify listener. uh, Here what is happening, we are using notify listener. If this count variable increases, just whatever changes come in this variable, just listen that and inform the UI, which will be uh, notified, and accordingly it will change on the screen. The change will be shown on the screen. So how can we now use this class data in this class? So we need mm, wherever we need to use the data or the provider function on our application, we need to wrap that widget with a consumer widget of provider. So let's just do that. Here I will do the wrap with widget, and I will provide consumer. Here it comes, and consumer asks for a builder, so just we will provide a builder. Here comes the context of this page, a value which will be we will be getting it from this page, and a child will be this text. So it is asking to return something, so we will return this text widget and put it here, and it's asking for a semicolon. So we will remove now this child which is not needed. I will save it, and after saving it, now this consumer widget needs a class to access this class data. We need to provide the class name to the consumer widget. So to provide the class name, and we need to import it. After importing, the error will remove. So now from this value we can be able to access the data of this class into this class. So let's access it. Here I will remove this. Now this is not needed. I will just put the curly braces and value dot count. Simple, the getter. uh, this getter function, I am just calling it here and showing the value on the screen. So now we are using provider, so we don't need to use the set state. So I will remove it. And if we wanted to use the uh, this function which I have created before, which is set count. So here is the spelling mistake. I will just rectify it. Here we have how to access this uh, function into this button, floating action button. We will need to also wrap it with the consumer widget. So let's wrap it with the consumer widget of provider, and just provide the class name from which class we are going to access uh, data, which class of data we are going to access. We need to just uh, provide it. So it asks to implement the builder function. So just let's build it. Here we need to return something. Just return this floating action button. Just cut it from here and just paste it, and remove this, and in place of comma just put a semicolon. And now we will call that function set count using the value set count. Just save it. Now let's see the magic. What will happen? So just hot reload it. After hot reloading, we will just click this button. See, now when I am clicking the button only one time, the build all the widgets are being built at once. Now only the text widget is being built again and again when I am clicking the button. To see really it is happening. So we need to just give it a print statement. Only this widget is being built again and again. So just save it. After saving that, so you see it has been built. So now when I click this button, the only this widget is being built which is required. So this is the magic of provider, and why we use provider, which uh, make our application efficient. And when we don't use the provider or any state management, it will make our application slow when we work on a complex e-commerce applications like chat applications or any other big applications. When we rebuild uh, whole the build widget or whole the screen for a one single widget, it will lose our application efficiency. To maintain the efficiency of our application, we use state managements like provider, getx, block, and many more. So I hope this video finds you helpful. If this is so, please don't forget to subscribe my channel, and please share, comment, and like my videos. Thank you very much.